Welcome to Black Men Speak, a live stream podcast that features Black men, ordinary Black men doing extraordinary things. It's great to be here on the 27th of June. We are now getting ready for summer now that the kids are, I guess most kids are officially out of school. We've been through graduations. My son just graduated from high school. One just got promoted to high school. So there you go. And at least on the East Coast, the everything is opening up pretty much. Everyone's got their vaccine. Well, most people anyway. And so we're just gearing towards the summer. So today we're going to be doing kind of something a little different. I used to do this in a previous podcast called Couples Conversation, where we just went over just different topics. And so today, over this week, there were several interesting topics that affected Black men, and I thought we'd talk about it. And I got some friends that are going to be here with me to talk about those things. You might have seen him on a previous show that I did probably in January, February. And they are the host of a show called Hood Kings. And they just also happen to be mentees of mine and who I've known since they were in high school. And they are, if you want to say they're old men now, but they're pretty close. And we're just going to talk about a couple things, and I can't wait to have them on. So, like I said, we have Tim, aka Seven, and Antoine, aka Odie or Udi. I hope I said it right. I think it's Odie, and I got to bring him up. So it's Odie. It's Udi or Odie. Udi. I said it right first time.
Ooh, too old.
Udi. Well, what's up, fellas?
What's going on, man?
It's been a while since I've seen you guys. So, how's everything? How's the podcast going?
Podcast going good.
Yeah. Podcast is going pretty good. We took a little break, but like you said, we getting back on. We getting everything together. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to having everybody come check us out.
Right. And so, yeah. What was our word of the day? What was the word of
Depleted.
Hopefully you guys will be repleted, not depleted tonight. So we got some interesting topics that have happened over the course of the week that I figure it'd be perfect for you guys to talk about. Just coming from a 20-year difference, I think we have, and we'll take a different perspective on things. And so. Yeah, let's talk about it. So the first thing I thought, what I saw in USA Today was a story about Derek Chauvin. As you know, he was sentenced this week. He was sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison. And in Minneapolis, they kind of praised the fact that in the criminal justice system had shown it to act swiftly and severely when faced with a police officer's slow motion murder of a Black man that was recorded by bystanders and witnessed by millions. And so then question I think we want to talk about is whether the example made of Chauvin will change anything for the many Black men and people of color who are disproportionately killed by police, often in an instant with inconclusive video or no witnesses. So first thing, what did you guys think of the sentencing? Do you think he got enough? Was it fair, or what do you guys think?
I'm gonna let you shoot first, Tim. Go
ahead. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that he was found guilty. As far as it being fair, I guess that would be in the eyes of, the family more so than me, because that's what they had to go through. As far as for me, I think just the fact that he was found guilty at 20 years is enough. That it's hard to say that is or it isn't. I mean, I would like to see that if you take someone's life, depending on how old they are, that should at least be the minimum of what you get type thing. If I would make a change, but I think it was fair enough in the sense that we at least got some justice as the Black community with the incident that happened.
Yeah. And go ahead, Antoine.
Nah, I was just gonna jump in and say, I was just going off of what you said. The Minneapolis, the justice system, they want credit, but they want credit for doing what was obviously right. You know what I mean? It's just like they should have moved swiftly. They should have convicted him. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I'm not giving you credit for that. It is a good first step. I think this is now a deterrent, for other police officers. You know what I mean? But it also still matters where, because the United States is not so united. You know what I mean? Like, it might convict one man, you might convict a cop in Minneapolis, but you go to Georgia or Texas somewhere in the South where that cop may get a slap on the wrist.
And oddly enough, this was first time that in Minnesota, there was actually a guilty verdict against a white police officer for killing a Black man.
Yeah, it's sad.
That's the first time. First time ever.
It's sad.
But it ain't the first time ever that a policeman has killed a Black man in Minneapolis.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's just like, I'm supposed to be excited for this one victory. Like, I'm down a lot.
Yeah, it goes to just the state of that state. And I don't know it very well. I mean, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have there's a program out there to recruit more teachers, Black male teachers. So it'll be interesting to hear more about what happened. But the mere fact that this is the first time, I just wonder, and it was easy to see why the community was so much in an uproar with the fact that this was just so blatant a killing, and that there was so much disregard for his life. And hopefully this will be a deterrent. I just wonder, I mean, there was, I guess, several months later where a Black man was killed in the same state. So we'll see how that works out. But I mean, I know it'd be interesting. So, I mean, I don't know. Have you guys ever had a run-in with a police, or where you felt like you might be threatened, even if it was just a traffic stop or anything like that? And what kind of went through?
Me personally, of course, I've been stopped by the police. I don't think I've been stopped by the police where it got to the point where I was scared for my life, because usually most of the police that approach me, are of the same, ethnicity, what I mean? So they understand, what I mean? I can speak to them, there's a comfort level where you might not have that comfort level in another neighborhood.
Okay. So you think do you think that makes a difference?
Community policing, I believe so. I believe your ethnicity needs to be, have to have some type of background or some knowledge of what's going on with your culture, so that they understand.
Yeah,
Tim, what do you think?
For me, it's actually been the opposite. To be honest,
really?
Honestly, I've had run-ins with the police, traffic stops, and it was like the white people, the white cops, they were like more friendly than the Black cops. I remember one incident when I had just joined the military. I had joined when I was 17, so I was about 18 years old. And I was in East Orange, and me and my friend was outside. We was on, I want to say Central Avenue, and we were throwing snowballs by the Rite Aid. So the cop, I guess, I didn't know he was a cop, thought he was a security guard. He comes out, y'all can't be throwing snowballs. And I'm like, we're just throwing snowballs at each other. So that escalated. They put their hands on me as an 18-year-old, if you know how I was in high school, you can just imagine how I reacted. And I actually got into a physical altercation with them, and a whole bunch of cops came out of nowhere, and I actually got hands put on by them. I did go to court, and the judge did throw it out. I think it was because my parents were like, I guess they didn't know that My uncle was a cop in East Orange. He's a retired. So it was, that was my hello to policing when it, so I know that, yeah, it's different for me. So that's why I'm like, I hear a lot of stories, I see a lot of stuff, but a lot of times when I encounter with the white officers, I don't really get too much stuff from them. And I think a lot of it is probably because I was in the military, to be honest. But other than that,
nope. I hit him with the yes sir, yes ma'am, all that. I'm hitting them with all that. You ain't about to stereotype me from the way I'm talking.
Yeah, exactly. And I had another incident where I had just purchased a car. I didn't have no license plate on the car, so I had somebody's license plate on the car. I was in Saraville, and the cop that pulled me over, you know, I told him I just purchased the car and everything, and he helped me out. Like, they told the car, that's what, you know, but he didn't, like, you know, he wasn't nasty to me. Then I was in the police car with him. I wasn't, you know, detained or anything, but he was showing me the messages that the other cops were saying to him on his dash thing. And it was saying, why are you helping this guy? He's like, he's in the military. He's showing the paperwork and stuff like that. So, I mean, like I said, my experience has been different with police.
So when you say you're in the military, there was something you would show that stated you had been in the military?
On my car, we had like little decals. So that was one thing that you can tell if somebody's in the military. Most times I'll show my ID, my military ID, things like that. So,
wow, okay, yeah, I haven't really been stopped by the police, only like for traffic stops, but I was always concerned. Didn't matter who it was in the police, because, well, at one point, because I live in Bergen County, and it was like, okay, there aren't too many black people out here. And the guy pulled me over some ridiculous highway for illegal lane change or something like that. He just wanted to give me a ticket. And I was like, well, no, that's not working. You know, went to court and got it overturned. But anytime you get stopped, it's always a matter of some kind of nervousness going on. So,
of course.
Yeah.
I remember when I started working in Flemington, and I used to get pulled over all the time, going to work or coming from work. I always got pulled over. There was one time I got to the point I just put a dash cam in my car, and I got pulled over literally twice in the same day. I got it. I had to use that film to teach my kids how to encounter with police, how you want to be with it. So it is a very scary, especially when the lights come on and, you know, you see that second car come up, because that's never a good sign when you see another car come up. So, and you know,
and do you think the video of that specific video of Derek Chauvin will cause police to at least pause and act differently, or we are going to have to, I guess, physically change how policing is done?
I believe it's like it's definitely a combination of both. You know what I mean? Like, I believe like the next police officer that has a man face down and is on his back is going to think twice. Like, all right, maybe I should get off of him. Maybe I should just turn him over. You know what I mean? I got him under control. You know, maybe I shouldn't need to use this much force for this longer time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely some thoughts that need to run through these cops' heads now. And I believe next time you just like, you know what, you don't know what you're gonna do when you're standing out there, but I believe, you know, hindsight 2020, you would want them to try to stop the police from hurting that man. You know what I mean? Like, that's a life that was just taken for no apparent reason, you know, and you would say like, hey, you know, if I was out there, I would have tried to get that man off him, but they got weapons too, and you could easily be the next man dead for trying to save another man's life.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's what really deterred people from actually going out there, because you heard some of the testimony, and, you know, they kept begging and pleading, but they just could not move. They could not take the step to move forward. And I'm sure it's because they were concerned about their life and what was going to happen to them.
Exactly. You know, you see the police obviously taking a man's life right in front of you. So it's just like, if I intercede, it's nothing for them to take my life because I'm watching them do it already.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that old slave mentality.
Exactly.
Round up the slaves and watch what I do to this one person to deteriorate them from doing anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then that leads to a great kind of segue, because the next story was about African Americans buying firearms.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in the it was basically a CNN story. It came out, and it said about, due to social unrest. Let me see what it said. About 40% of gun buyers in 2020 purchased a firearm for the first time, according to the National Shooting Sports Foundation, an industry trade group that compares FBI's background check with sales data. So they said in the survey is that it's been more diverse, but they've seen a 58% increase of African American buyers from 2020 compared to 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that was interesting, because what that says is that, a couple things, that people are more comfortable buying firearms, and so they're more comfortable, one, and two, there's an unrest, or they're feeling a little bit concerned about safety. So yeah, I thought this would be a great topic, since I know recently you guys have been to the shooting range. So yeah, so I'd be here. Interesting to know. So do both of you guys own guns, and if so, why? Why do you own them?
You want me to go first?
You're the gun man.
You're the gun man.
Well, I do own firearms.
Okay.
I purchased my first firearm this year. I haven't shot a gun since the military, so I got it in 2007, so about 14 years. So yeah, I did purchase my first firearm, and honestly, when I went to go do it, I was nervous. I was very nervous, not because I had a criminal record, not because I'm a bad guy, not because I had any foul intent on getting one. I just was nervous because I thought about what's his name, Philo Castillo. If I'm saying
Castillo,
right.
Yeah, Philando Castillo, yeah.
He was a legal carry owner, which I am as well. So a lot of the thoughts that went through my head was, if I get this, what type of energy am I going to bring to my life? Being a black man now, does it justify, say, if I do get pulled over and, I let them know that I have a firearm with me, how does that go? Things like that. So it was very nerve wracking actually getting a firearm. So I can understand that aspect. Why is a rise? I don't know why it's a rise, but I'm happy that it is, because I think that more black people should. If you can legally own a firearm, you should. It's nothing wrong with it. I think you should get training, things like that. I've actually started training my kids on the safety of firearms and things like that, just so that when they get older, they won't, be as nervous as I am, but at least they have some type of training, because I didn't get training on firearms until I was 17. So I started them a little younger. So.
Yeah. And if I take it, what type of gun did you purchase?
My first gun was a Taurus G3. And a lot of times when you go to the range or a gun store, firearm store, it's overwhelming because you see so many, and it's like I don't know what to get. I don't know what to do. I don't know. So I think where I go, they actually have a class that will help you on how to purchase the firearm that fits you. And I think why I never purchased one, because I always thought it was like expensive, and so I went there. I'm like $300-400. I can get a gun for $300-400, like, and it's legal. Like,
wow,
I might as well. Why not? So I've it's been like a little hobby since then. I've gotten several firearms since then, and it's fun for me. It's a stress reliever when I go to the range. I like the challenge of getting better, getting back to training I had and knowledge and stuff like that. So when Antoine found out, he came out, we made it a bro day. Like, yo, we going to the range. We just had fun.
Okay. Yeah. Antoine, when you went, was that the first time you had fired a gun?
Not the first time I fired a gun.
Okay.
But you know, I never had any like formal training, so I learned a lot going with him. You know what I mean? And it's always good to learn from your brother because, you know, it's like a little bonding thing that you get. So, you know, I pick up on little things. I don't feel afraid to ask questions. I'm not afraid to make mistakes, you know, little things like that, you know, because I know he's going to be there and support me to help me out and everything. So, you know, it's very, like you said, I didn't look at it as a form of therapy, but it is because I realized when I was doing it, everything else didn't matter. Nothing else mattered. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't thinking about anything else but firing that gun the right way. So I was doing it properly. So, you know, it was kind of like a relief, a little stress reliever. It's nothing that I really been into, wasn't like a hobby like that. But, you know, being as though, you know, my brother got into it, I'm starting to take it up a little bit, you know, because, you know, iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? I want to be just as strong as the next man or knowledgeable as the next man.
So that's interesting because you both have mentioned training. So I know people will listen to the show. What goes into a training? What are some of the 3 to 5 basic things someone needs to know when they own or shoot a gun?
Let me start this off because I'm gonna do it just from the beginning side. Tim is gonna get technical.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? First you gotta have a proper stance. You know what I mean? Well, I ain't even gonna say that's the most important. You got to hold the gun properly. A lot of like you see these shows and these guys just shooting these guns like they're not doing it properly, and they're probably not shooting what they're trying to hit. You know what I mean? So it's just like they're just shooting to scare. They're not shooting to actually hit their target. You know what I mean? So I would say the way you hold the gun, you know what I mean? Like just the little safety tips, like never pointing the gun to you, never putting your finger on the trigger until you're absolutely sure you're ready to fire. You know what I mean? You know how you're holding it, the stance in which you're holding it. You know what I mean? Like the security and stuff like that. Those are like basic fundamental things that people should know how to do. Like even if you just on the corner. You get what I'm saying? Like if you're on the corner and you trying to protect your block, you should know how to hold the gun properly instead of just out there shooting kids left and right. You know what I mean? Bullets going every which way. Like at least like if you're gonna be out there doing your thing and protect the block, like at least take some time to study a little bit. That's all. I don't want to promote it or nothing, but you know, like I don't want to have little kids get shot for no apparent reason either.
Yeah, I guess the basic things that you might not think about.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like people just think like, oh, I want to get a gun and get me the biggest bullets and I'm just going to shoot it and it's going to be great and I'm going to hit everything. Well, you might shoot that gun and it might fly out your hand if you don't have the proper grip. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. It's little things that people really need to think about.
Interesting.
Yeah, rule number 1 for when it comes to firearms is you have to treat all guns as if they're loaded. So even if you can physically see that the chamber is locked, that the slide is locked, you have to physically check, put your finger in, check. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is basically keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire at whatever. And those are like just basic stuff that I'm drilling in my kids, you know, because I don't want them, you know, God forbid they walk out and see a gun on the floor anywhere and, oh, what is this? That's like how accidents happen. So safety is the number 1 thing when it comes to firearms. Like he said, grip, stance, all that stuff. You can do all that with dry firing. You don't have to go to the range to do all that. When you go to the range, I tend to use it for test out my trigger control because I do a lot of dry fire. And dry fire is basically it's no live ammunition. I'm working on my stance, my trigger pull. I actually have like a little light that when I pull the trigger, it shows where the bullet is going.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's called Strikeman. It's an app on your phone, and that's what I use for my dry firing. So I do a lot of dry firing. I watch a lot of videos. I actually have people at the gun range that I go to that I can talk to if I have any issues, and they've been very helpful ever since I met them. But safety is the number one thing when it comes to firearms.
And more safety.
And when you go to the range that you go to, is it predominantly white, or is it more diverse?
No, it's predominantly white. Predominantly white. Yeah.
But when you've gone, they've seen you as just a colleague. As someone,
yes, the workers. Now I can't say anything for like the other people that come in there.
No, the workers.
The workers.
Yeah.
Drop gunshot, dude.
But also he's had to go frequently. He's had to have his face seen. He had to become regular to be accepted. Whereas though most of the time Black people will have you in with open arms. We're very accepting. We're ready to invite you to the cookout as soon as you do one good thing.
My experience in Georgia, because I went to the fire range in Georgia.
Okay.
And that's when I ran into Safari too, which was like kind of weird. He just was in there at the gun range. I was like, oh, okay. So this is how it is out here. I might have to move out here. But when I went there, it was different. It was more diverse. It was actually, Black people working there and stuff like that. So that experience was a little more welcoming, I guess, because it was more of a predominantly Black neighborhood and things like that. So
you just naturally felt more comfortable.
Yeah. Well, let me see. But since we grew up in different areas, I know we're going back. Mm-hmm. But did you, folks around you, was it that same stigma or fear of guns, or was it just that you knew people? I'm sure you knew people that had guns, carried guns illegally or legally. And I don't know if it had that same stigma. I mean, I know in my household, we did not have a gun. I know I could not have a gun in my house right now. My wife does not like guns, and I'm not saying I do either, but I'm just saying there's no need. I know we won't be training my kids on how to use one. So I just wonder, growing up, did your community or have that same fear of guns? Because what I'm hearing from you is that when you went to the range, you're trying to break down that stigma that there's no reason to fear guns. You just need to know how to use them properly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, growing up, I think the adults that I grew up with did a good job as far as not exposing me to a lot of stuff. So if there were firearms in the house, I don't know. If there were people that I know that had firearms, I'm trying to think. Besides probably like one of the hood dudes, I would assume that they would. But growing up, I don't think anyone in my household, exposed me to firearms at a young age or anything like that. I do remember one incident though, where I was at one of my friend's house, and whoever she was talking to, he did have a firearm, and I just looked like, okay, I guess he was like, well, you know how you go to a different hood and you're not from that hood. That's right. That type of thing. Or make sure you got it on you type thing. Like he had it under the seat, and I just was looking like, oh, okay. That was the first time I ever seen a gun in person, honestly. So.
Yeah, it wasn't for my family. It wasn't too prevalent. I knew my grandfather had one. He used to hunt, so he used it for hunting and everything. So I knew my grandfather had a gun. So. It wasn't nothing that was brought up. It wasn't like a topic of discussion. It wasn't spoke on. You know what I mean? It was not big in our, and I don't believe it's a big thing in the Black culture. You get what I'm saying? To be gun owners or have that topic brought up in the home. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's almost like, what can I say? Credit. You ain't heard about credit back in the day until you got older, and then it's just like, oh shit, it's credit. I need that. I should have been doing this from the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
I think most like any Black family, we don't really want our kids touching the guns because, I mean, God forbid, rest in peace, Tamir Rice incident with him where he's a little kid just playing with a toy gun and he gets shot from it. You know what I mean? So I know that's one thing. my wife was really big on with the kids. Like they can only play with the toy guns in the house. They can't go outside with them or anything like that. So she has since I've been like, getting back into it and like, talking to her about the training them and all that other stuff and things like that, she has turned over towards firearms. And she's working on getting her stuff as well. So I've go over stuff with her with safety anytime she's interested. And I try to show her, what I know and what I learned.
And that's just interesting because I do think primarily in the Black community, or in families, we're not really gun owners. We're not. And yet when folks are fearful when we even have guns. And so it's just an interesting dynamic. I mean, and of course, if you know anything with the Black Panthers, they were just deathly afraid just because they, had guns and they were trying to defend themselves. And so
exercise them rights.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, and we should. Some people it should be a choice. And if you want to go out and, protect yourself, you should be able to without fear that there's going to be, a reprisal, or you can't even announce that you have one for fear that your life is going to end. But
let me add something. I think especially when it comes to firearms, a lot of people need to understand that there's different laws in different states.
Right.
That's one big thing I think that has me like my brain going, because now that I am a firearms owner, and if I do travel, I need to know the laws here. I need to know the laws here. I need to know the laws here, because what it is where I'm at, once I go to Jersey, I can get a charge of a felony just by having a certain type of ammunition, or this magazine capacity can't even be accepted in here, or things like that. So there are things out there like concealed carry that gives you this information on the different laws on everywhere. It's also the thing I joined was a USCCA. This is basically for people whoever they carry, you get insurance through them. You also get information. They have training videos and how to talk to your kids about firearms and things that you can do and all this other stuff, and let you know, there's a big map, let you know where your license is accepted if you're a concealed carry person like myself, and things like that. So it's a lot of laws that varies, and that's the thing that you definitely want to make sure you know. Safety in these laws, because you get hemmed up on something and you could, simple as just coming from the range, and if you don't have a license, you got to go to and from. It's no making a pit stop. Oh, my wife told me I need to get some eggs from the grocery store. No, it's to and from. Make sure you're going to and from if you don't have a license and things like that.
Good to know. So yeah, for those that are interested, make sure you file, study, train, and definitely know the safety. Okay, that's great. So we're gonna move on to the next topic. Has to do with health. It was an article in the Chicago Defender that talked about Black men putting their health first. And so a great quote, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, roughly 14.9% of men over 18 are fair or suffer poor health conditions. Even though there may be a generic factor influencing health for some men, certain lifestyle choices may be causing some preventable health problems. Many directly contribute to the leading cause of death for men. And so they list some statistics. 5% of men aged 20 and over are obese. Black men, 38.7%. For Black men, it's 38.7%. 9% of men aged 20 and around have high blood pressure and are taking antihypertensive medication. So yeah, I thought that was, not that it's a surprise. It's quite interesting that this was an article this month because, we're of course going in the summer, but I wanted to, just broach that topic. And I wanted to say, when's the last time you guys went to the doctor?
You want to take that one, Rudy?
No, it's been I would say it's been like a year or two for me.
Year or two?
Yeah, since I've been to the doctor.
Okay.
I haven't been like sick to where I felt like, I like, oh, I need to go to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Besides like a little ailments, like I sprained my elbow.
Okay.
Like I went to the doctor for that. You get what I'm saying? Like stuff like that, I got to go to the doctor for. But like just like a regular checkup or like a physical or something like that, I haven't done it in a while.
Okay.
It's been a while for me, but I do have something set up this year in September. I think for me, when it comes to the hospital, it's like a little nerve-wracking because it's like a reality check, especially if you don't feel nothing wrong with you, but you
Right.
get some blood work done and they hit you with the this.
They just waiting to tell you something.
Yeah, and I for me, I had a bad experience. I think I spoke to you once or twice maybe about this, Rudy, where I had I was complaining because I was using the bathroom doing number 2, and there was a lot of blood coming out, and I've been telling my doctor this for a year. This was at the VA hospital, and the doctor I had, I think he was just so worried about retiring. I felt like he didn't do his job, so I requested another doctor because I'm like, this doctor isn't doing anything for me. Long story short, I did a colonoscopy. They found polyps in my colon, which was considered carcinoid tumors, which is like a rare cancer or whatever. So they weren't a certain, because they were saying that if it's not a certain size, then they can snip it while they were doing it. So technically, I'm supposed to like every 2 years get it done. And to be honest, I haven't really been on it. So that's what this doctor visit is for. But it just was like, when it comes to it, I sat here and told you guys I was having issues for a year and y'all did nothing. So I think sometimes a lot of people, especially when it comes to the Black community, we don't like to go there because we don't feel like our needs or what's really going on with us is really being attended to. Like, especially like the fatherhood thing that we was talking about that the other day with Black women and giving birth, and how, they African Americans die more when it comes to childbirth and things like that. And it was like, you can look at her and see nothing was wrong with her and all this other stuff. So I don't feel like sometimes healthcare when it comes to men is really, especially Black men, that it's like, I don't know, like taken serious or as serious as anyone else, honestly.
I'm glad you guys shared your stories, because I think you're just the two of you is the epitome of what we as Black men go through when it time to go to the doctor. We decide we don't want to go to the doctor just because either we've had a bad experience or there's nothing wrong with us. But and that was what was laid out in the article. So it was just saying, 60% of Black men are more likely to die from stroke than non-Hispanic white men. 75% of Black men are also less likely to have health insurance than white men as well. But and I think it's just the lack of awareness. So how old are you guys right now? How old are you?
I'm 36.
36?
37.
So you are at the age where you need to start going.
Yeah,
every
definitely.
year.
Yeah.
Every year, just to get, and more than likely just to have your baseline number. So I suffer from high cholesterol, which is genetic. My dad had high cholesterol. I don't have high blood pressure, but so I take medication yearly, and I know it can be a challenge finding doc that's going to tell you like it is, because they may minimize, oh, you're okay, and not really do the baseline stuff
based on your insurance.
Yeah, also based on your insurance. And so it's a matter of knowing and being your own advocate to help. So I do, I know Tim is going to the doctor, but I definitely challenge you, Antoine, to go for no other reason, just to know exactly where your numbers are. because I think a lot of times we can well, for the most part, nothing will be wrong until something is wrong, and it might be too late.
Yeah, I had a scare like that too, because I became pre-diabetic late in my 20s, which was like one of those, well, I never had any issues or anything like that. So they put me on meds and I refused to take the meds. I'm not gonna lie. Tried to put me on insulin, and I just didn't like how the stuff made me feel. I actually, honestly, healed myself, and my doctor was scratching his head because he was like, what did you do? I'm like, well, I changed my diet, you know, started doing a whole bunch of other stuff. But I think a lot of times, especially when it comes to the Black community, we need to know our family history, because I've come to find out that, you know, on my mom's side, a lot of the men there have colon cancer and stuff like that. But that wasn't until I got hit with we have to do a colonoscopy and things like that. And I know my mom had MS, but she was able to overcome that. She had sugar issues. My dad recently, I want to say within probably like 3 years, he's about 50-some years old, just got hit with some, he has sugar issues. And my dad is like one of those, I don't even know if I ever seen him go to the hospital for anything or a doctor visit, anything like that. So I think that the family history and knowing that is important too. And you gotta talk to our kids and let them know like what's going on with us. At least let them know, because you know we get hit with the stroke and the stress, especially being Black men working, providing day in, day out, and not, you know, getting a spa day or you know, just a relaxation day, and it's just every week is just the same thing. So yeah, that's very important. This health is very important. I'll be getting on Antoine about it too. I know
Antoine's been quiet this whole time.
I'll be getting on my bro about it too, like especially because he loves to eat, and there's nothing wrong with being a foodie. But I'll be like, yo, you're getting older, so your body is not going to, you know, break that stuff down. Like, you know, 16-year-old Udi, where we can just be up all day, up all night, and up in 2 hours and be good. Nah, your body, when you get older, you need that rest. That digestive system need to be relaxed, and fasting is one of those things that you have to start doing as you're getting older and changing your diet. Like, so
especially with the pre-diabetes, because you guys are not working out. I mean, remember, we used to work out six days a week. What, 2-3 hours a day? So yeah,
I wonder if it's a study like that, because I feel like those that were like athletes, and
I don't know about y'all. I'm still active though, man. I'm out here lifting meters, and I'm swinging hammers and drilling. I'm out here active, so I burn my calories during the day, B. You feel me? So I put my work in.
I hear you put your working in, but you still just need to go ahead and check and know exactly where you are from year to year.
Yeah, I ain't gonna front. I'm a little nervous about this visit. I'm gonna be a little nervous.
Well, you know, I mean, that's right, you're in Pennsylvania. I don't know. The doctor that I saw, she was really good. So I mean, I don't know who you're going to see, but
I have to come to Jersey. I go to the VA in Jersey.
Oh, okay. Oh, you go to the VA. You go to the VA. Okay, gotcha. I mean, and Antoine, you have insurance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, next time we are on the show again, which will maybe in a couple months, I expect you to say you've made your doctor's appointment.
All right, that's some homework we gotta do.
That's the homework you gotta do. No doubt. All
right.
And so so that kind of leads to the last topic, which was about skincare. Have you ever gone for a facial?
Nah, never got a facial.
No, you never got.
I've gotten products like Scott Porter, their face scrub and stuff. I do use that, so. But I never got a facial with cucumbers on my eyes.
Yeah, I never experienced.
And I ain't gonna lie, facial. When I hear facial, I don't think of that.
Yeah. I never did that as well. I got my nails done one time, and that was with Tim from my wedding. So I never even been like no manicure.
He didn't want to do that. I'm like, yo, you gotta, you know, y'all gonna be taking pictures of your hands and stuff, bro. They gotta be official. He's like, all right. But I think that was the only time he ever went.
Well, that's funny. There was an article in Pop Sugar that talked about men's grooming market is worth $70 billion. But unfortunately, Black men's needs and concerns are largely glossed over when it comes to marketing, branding, and exposure, because most brands that exist in the mainstream or are elevated in major publications are led predominantly by people other than Black men. And so I like this quote by he created this product called Ceylon. I guess it's primarily for Black men. But he's like, for as long as I can remember, Black men have been viewed as pillars of strength and protectors without the space to be softer or to prioritize our self-care. Because of this, we are not the first demographic you think of when it comes to beauty and skincare. His name was Dorian Renaud.
Well, didn't they have that Dove? I think it was, if you even go back to how soap was marketed, it was changing your black skin to become white type thing. They had something with the Dove. Y'all don't remember that?
I saw that little marketing campaign.
It was like a little Dove, but it went deeper back to like how soap was branded back then. It was more so like, oh, your dark skin is dirty, so you need the soap type thing. If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I can understand. I don't know why. I mean, and then with melanin, we act different with melanin anyway.
Yeah, but I wanted to touch upon, does self-care, or the fact that if men that take care of themselves, facials, massages, mani-pedis and all, do you think that means, or that as a Black man you're soft?
No, I don't think. I mean, there was a story that DMX just said that he ran into Prince, and we know how Prince was, and he was like, Prince was a gangster. So I don't think that has nothing to do with, it's if you want to take care of yourself, you take care of yourself. Is it important? Yes, it is important, because the skin is the biggest organ, and that lets you know, that leads to a lot of health stuff anyway. So, what you put on your body, and, we absorb and suck in everything through our skin. So even like the water where we take showers and stuff, fat and all that stuff, like that stuff really matters. And then knowing about and taking care of your skin is very important.
So do
I do it? I do it?
Do you do it
on a day-to-day? I'm guilty of not, but I attempt. I do have, like I said, I use Scott Porter, and shout out to Target because now I can go there to go purchase the products. I ain't got to go online to purchase it. Right. So, but I do use some stuff for my skin. Lotion. I always didn't. Y'all may laugh because I already know you laugh. I knew you had it in you. I always thought because I was light skinned, I ain't need no lotion because I don't get ashy. Oh, okay. So now that I'm older, I'm starting to get ashy. I'm like, well, I should have been putting a little bit of shea butter on my skin at this point but yeah, I if I have lotion in my face when I'm out the shower, I'll definitely lotion up the body.
And do you think it takes a Black owned product for us to get more into it, because they will market specifically to us?
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer a Black owned product, because I know for sure that it's tailored to our skin and our type of skin and our many different shades of the skin. So yeah, I would prefer that, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and if what's available. I think if it's available and I can get to it, then yeah. But if it's not available, then it's like it's not something that's on my mind. But I would prefer it. Right.
What about you, Udi?
I think it's more of a perception thing. I think as men think once you do that, you're looked at as soft. You're not the rock that you should be. You know what I mean? I know not all men feel that way, but it's a perception type of thing. If people see you that way, you know what I mean? That's not how you want to be seen. But cleanliness is next to godliness. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to try to be clean, fresh. We might not pay attention to it as much as a woman, which I don't think a man should be that vain. You know what I mean? And that's probably why the industry isn't as big as it should be. Like you said, like Tim may buy some product that may last him a month, where that woman has a product and she needs to buy that product once a week. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right.
they to market to a woman is much easier because she's going to use
buy
that
everything.
product. Yeah, she's going to use that product more frequently. She's a reoccurring customer. Whereas, if I buy some hair grease, I might have that hair grease for 3 months before it run out of it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's very different aspects from a man and a woman and how they take care of themselves. Yeah, I use lotion. I try to. I'm dark. I get ashy.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
no hiding that.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? So it's just like you need lotion. In the summertime, it's hard because you be sweating your ass off with some lotion on out there working. I need some suntan lotion to come.
Sunday, that's right. You better make sure you start using that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'd be out there crispy. So
well, you got to think about that skin cancer too. That's no joke.
And that's another thing. The
Exactly.
sun. What was it? Sunblock, black sun. I think my wife got some black owned sunblock for the kids and stuff like that. So,
and also keep it funky with you, the black owned stuff. It be in Target, you know what I'm saying, but it needs to be more easily accessible. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the price be exorbitant. You know what I mean? It's just like okay, yeah, I want to support your Cocoa Jojo butter or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? But Palmer's got it for $7.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, you want me to buy the same size can for $30?
But they mass producing it. The black owned most times probably be more hands on.
Small business, yeah.
Yeah, so
it's a matter of supporting, and if so it can be $7 at one point.
Yeah. Right. So that's a whole nother problem in itself right there. You know what I mean? It's a small business. We can't mass produce it. We gotta sell it for more than what we should just to see a profit. Meanwhile, I'm selling it to the people I'm trying to help, but the people I'm trying to help struggling. I ain't just about trying to spend $30 on some lotion. You know what I mean? I spent 15 on some lotion and 15 on some gas. That's $4 a gallon.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, therein lies the kind of the challenge in our communities when we're trying to support black-owned businesses. If it's not the right price point, a lot of the target market that they're trying to reach is unreachable because they can't afford to pay. Is it food? Are they going to buy food, or are they going to buy this expensive product just because it's black owned? So yeah, it's definitely a catch-22 when it comes to supporting our black businesses, and we have to. And I guess it really does matter with we feel is important. What's important to us. So if your skin is important, you're going to spend the money.
And also then, like, the customer service is very important as well. Not all the time our black businesses have top-notch customer service.
Well, that's also another challenge as well. But I think, what's also a challenge? Also, we as consumers as well won't necessarily put our complaints out there so they can get better. We'll just we knew they were going to be
social
bad.
media and
blast them. We knew they were going to be bad anyway. Let's go back to Palmer's or whatever and Dove and just start using their stuff again because I knew they were going to be booty anyway. So, but we have to do a better job as well. Your customer service when it's good, I'll support you, but you have to do better at X. Call me back when I send you, when I leave a message, or you can at least tweet or email me back when I send you an email. And it takes time, but I'm sure we're getting better, I have to say.
Exactly.
Well, this has been great. Always great having you on, having you guys on, tell everyone how everyone can check your podcast. I think you guys said you're on a break, but how can they find you?
We're on Facebook, Hood Kings Podcast. You should see a logo with our logo. Can you see it? Can you see it? Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And we're also on Instagram, and we're also on Twitter. So anything Hood Kings Podcast, that's how you can see us. And we try to go, I think we're going to do once. So we just passed, it was last Wednesday. So we're going to do 3 weeks from now, our next podcast, and then we get back into schedule. So we try to do our podcast on Wednesdays around 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Great. Check them out. So, we always end the show with what's on your mind. but we did I don't know if it's changed since January. What's on your mind now, or what's on your mind for the summer?
Summer. Well,
Hey man, the real question is what's not on my mind? That's the real question. What's not on my mind? It's just like it's so much going on. I can't even pinpoint just one thing. Not even just outside, personal stuff going on too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I'm just trying to stay smooth this summer and try to get everything straightened out for myself. You know what I mean?
So your head's spinning right now, I guess.
Yeah, it's spinning right now. It's spinning right now. It's spinning right now.
Depleted.
When was your last vacation?
I'm trying to get Tim to take one with me, but I do need one now. Okay. I do need a vacation. I do need to plan one, even if it's just a little short, little something. I do need one now.
Yeah, you need self-care is by far something we need to start doing, and the biggest thing, which I talk to my best friend all the time, you need to take some days off, because if you don't get to work because of whatever else, then you're not good, not only for yourself, for your family. So it's always good to take a break.
Definitely.
Tim? Take a break. I need to get into the habit of taking breaks because I'm a homebody. So I think I actually traveled more this summer than I've been on a long time, honestly. So I know my wife wants to do a few things with the kids and stuff. So that's next. But I definitely want to do a road trip. Are you still doing your retreat or anything, Coach?
I haven't done the retreat. I didn't do a retreat because of the pandemic. I may think of doing one, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I may try to do one once I know everything is clear. So I don't know if that'll be Valentine's or I don't think September will be too soon to kind of get it together. So, but I may try to shoot something for Valentine's or around there, or when there's a holiday, which is like President's Day weekend. So I'll think about that. But thank you for bringing that to the forefront.
Yeah, we definitely want to get out there.
Yeah,
and do something. I know we're trying to do. We just found out here in the Poconos they have because me and Antoine was driving my brother's slingshot Father's Day, so we was driving it. So I found out over here. I found out over here they have like you can rent them for hours or whatever, but they have like I guess like a to and from type thing where you can drive from here to here, whatever. So I think that's the next thing I'm gonna try to do with the wife.
Nice. Well, it's been a great show. Thank you guys for being on tonight. Get those checkups,
love you, Coach.
Facials, and keep practicing the shooting. I don't know if I'll get out there once.
Come on, you're gonna come one. You gotta come. You have to come. You have to come. I'm telling you, it's gonna change your life. You're gonna
all right, so we gotta get So look, we gotta get physicals and we gotta get facials. Physicals and facials.
There you go.
Physicals
and facials. So y'all
we gotta get a shirt.
Physicals won't be depleted. So you won't be depleted.
So you won't be depleted.
All right, brothers. It's been great seeing you. You guys have a good night.
Yes, definitely. Sir. You too, man.
All right.